Brandon Buckingham decided to go out into the woodworks of the explicit content creators, and he thought it was a good idea to go and interview them.
And how has it impacted like your sexual relationships? Are you dating anybody?
Yeah.
How's that been?
Great. I have a normal relationship just like anyone else.
I really don't like the way she answered that question. She kind of made it seem like, oh, this is normal in this industry. Like, why would you think otherwise? After watching that, if that was the only content creator that was interviewed, I would have left with the impression that everything was fine and dandy when it comes to relationships in that industry. Because I cannot imagine somebody having a girlfriend or a boyfriend that participates in this industry and be okay with the line of work that they provide. However, if you actually ask other adult content creators who can count past the number 10, you will see that their experiences contrast this woman's answer drastically.
It's hard to date.
I've been in some where the guy is just completely against it and it doesn't work, and that doesn't work for me because this is my career.
For like the other person though, they have to be very emotionally stable to deal with the fact that I'm doing this for work and know that it's just work.
I have a normal relationship just like anyone else.
And Brandon, of course, being the legend that he is, attempted to ask her another question, and as expected, she ended up running into the door before she opened it.
If you had a child that wanted to get into pornography, an 18-year-old, of course, you would support them getting into it, correct?
Yeah. You know, you ask the most like basic, arrogant, disgusting questions.
Well, because
No, like I just need to let you know, like you're a little prick, and you're
Why?
lucky that I've even sat here this long and entertained this conversation. But yeah, I don't care as long as they're happy. But you ask all the basic, like just just so small-minded. Like you're just very disappointing. I really thought that you would have something interesting to ask me, but you just asked the same questions I've been asked countless of times before. And I really thank you for your time. Thank you so much for interviewing me. But yeah, have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, Bella. I apologize for offending you.
No, it's okay. You didn't offend me. You just disappointed me. You asked me the
I
same
want
shit
to
everyone
give
else asked me.
perspective from the inside.
These are questions everyone has asked me. So
Okay, you're taking the questions as negative.
I'm just telling you to work on that. No, like
It wasn't supposed to be a negative thing.
it wasn't. No, it was just disappointing. It was the same questions I get asked all the time.
Can you give us an example of a good question?
It's redundant.
Can you give us an example of a good question?
What do you think the meaning of life is?
What's the meaning of life?
No, it's okay. I have a whole line, but thank you
I
so much.
apologize. All right, thank you.
I wasn't trying to laugh, but damn, man, that's the best deep philosophical question you want to be asked. I don't understand why crap on Brandon. She could have been so much more professional, and I love the way how Brandon, when he's getting shit on, he just accepts it and acts professional and just walks away. I mean, yeah, he gives a look to the camera, but at least he didn't say anything to her. That's what she should have done. And you know what's crazy out of everything? That there are other content creators that also contrast whatever answer she gave.
How has being in the adult film industry impacted like your romantic relationships?
Nobody has ever asked me that, but
I was told someone
No.
named Abella Danger said I had terrible questions and I was a prick. So I'm happy you like my question.
That's actually a really wonderful question.
Thank you.
And I think
And you know what's crazy? That other content creators had no problem answering the question. And as a matter of fact, a lot of them actually ended up giving such an insightful answer as well. Because it made me think, like, whoa, like a lot of these content creators, oftentimes we hear about how these content creators are depressed or damaged goods, but not these women. These women understand the business and they actually give a fair take.
It's really good well to me for mental health.
I've been more confident in my body, more confident around others, especially around women.
I would have murked myself at like 15 if I didn't have porn.
You feel like it saved your life?
Oh, for sure.
I feel like I've like evolved into like my final form. I mean,
Like Frieza.
What?
But you ask all the basic, like just so small-minded. Like you're just very disappointing.
Own. You, like, that woman got owned. No one's gonna contrast me otherwise. So my beef is with this woman, okay? Because apparently she knows what the audience wants. But the thing is that this interview is not for you. It's for the people. And people want to ask questions about the industry. That's what they want. They want to understand more about the industry. I don't give a fuck about the meaning of life.
Can you give us an example of a good question?
What do you think the meaning?
Who cares? We don't care. Which is why people will ask the same question to the same people who work in that industry. They'll ask it over and over again because oftentimes we're exposed to people who give us different answers to that question. Like, for instance, Mia Khalifa and Lana Rhoades, they give us different answers compared to what a lot of these adult content creators give us.
Do you look at that 21-year-old and feel that she was used? She was very much a victim.
I feel like she didn't have the tools to identify that she was being taken advantage of. You know, trying to manipulate me to doing what they wanted me to do.
Back to I don't think that it's good for anyone. They should make it illegal. Wow. Yeah. You know what though? It's honest. Yeah.
Like Mia Khalifa, she has supporters talking about how she was manipulated in the industry.
If you aren't supporting Mia Khalifa right now, get the fuck off my page. You aren't a feminist. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably do some research into how Mia Khalifa was literally manipulated and forced into the industry, and then after being manipulated and forced to make these videos, wasn't given proper cuts of her share.
And because I listen to them, my understanding of the industry is that a lot of the women in this industry are exploited and are often used for manipulation purposes. Now, I don't know, again, if that's true or not. And after watching this video from Brandon Buckingham, I came out with a new understanding for the industry and maybe even an appreciation for this line of work. I never really got to see the details of this industry until now. Whenever I see these content creators talk about this, like Lana Rhoades or Mia Khalifa, like I tend to think that this industry is exploiting their content creators. And what's more is that I decided to do a little bit of research, believe it or not, because I think doing your due diligence, I think that that's important. Would you agree? So I did. And you know what the research indicates? Well, actually, it's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it. I do want to go ahead and cite whose study this is. This was published by the Journal of Sex Research. And some of the words are going to be blocked out here. Just want to let you guys know. Despite all the preconceived notions of those involved in the adult industry, researchers found that female adult content creators do not have higher rates of mental health problems and drug use compared to the average woman.
But I mean, to me, what's crazy that I had found was that a lot of women that went into the porn industry, 70% of women that went into prostitution or the porn industry, had some sort of physical abuse as a child.
I want to go ahead and say that we're only referring to adult film actors. We're not talking about prostitution. Prostitution and the adult industry are two different entities. I also want to go ahead and highlight this sentence as well. They found that adult entertainers had a higher self-esteem, better body image, greater levels of spirituality, and higher quality of life because they slept better and had more energy. So a lot of that stuff is interesting. I didn't even know that because, again, there's such a stigma with this industry that it doesn't allow us to see what this industry is. We see this as like a net negative for women and men. We always think that these industries are exploiting these people. I think that in almost every industry, if there's business people, there's always going to be exploitation going on because obviously the businessmen, they can out negotiate a lot of these, you know, adult entertainers, artists, musicians. So that's kind of a given. So I kind of just wanted to just go ahead and just showcase that to you guys because we didn't get a proper answer from that one woman who thought that she knew it all.
Just so small-minded, like.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give you guys that information. Now you guys do what you guys want with it. I've been wrong about this entire thing too as well. I thought that, you know, a lot of women there were being exploited, at least until I did the research. So I thank Brandon Buckingham for that one, who is also the guy who's supposed to fight Sneako. But yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Instead, this is just interesting. I just kind of want to leave you guys with that. And yeah, man, I'm pretty much done. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.